Hello everyone, this is Garnet and today I'm going to show you how I like to make eyes in Clip Studio Paint. At the bottom right here you're going to see that I have a little window, and all that's going to do is show you what keys I press when I'm drawing. That way you don't have to wonder what keys I'm pressing. So I've got my canvas opened up here, and I'm going to open up a new canvas for my reference pictures. Now, I believe whenever you are making some art, whether it's semi-realistic, cartoonish, anime, I believe you should use reference pictures. Alright, so here we've got our reference pictures. What we're going to cover up today is parts of the eyes, like the eyelids, the pupils, the iris, the eyelashes, and the eyebrows. Okay, so now we've got a mask. Change there we go. I like that skin tone more. Alright, so here we've got our first set of eyes that we're going to do. I'm going to make sure that I've put this in a file so that later on we can duplicate this whole file and just change it. So let's start off by doing a bit of drawing the shape of the eyes that I'm going to draw. So here I've got the pencil tool. I'm going to be using the pencil tool for now as I draw out the area where the eyes are going to go. This is going to be the nose ridge in between I'm doing a semi-realistic style, but yet I'm still trying to manipulate it to make it seem more cartoonish, because that is my goal today. We're gonna do a cartoonish eye, but we're gonna keep that realistic element in it as well. So right now I'm just trying to get approximately the shape that I want to work with. So as I'm working on this, I notice that there's not enough space there for the eyebrows. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a bit of skin here. That way we have some space for the eyebrows a little bit later. Alright, so now we've got our eye and we've got our skin. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to leave this eye for now, because since our character is looking straight at the camera, straight at us, then we can just mirror this image onto the other side when we are finished. So underneath this pencil drawing that I've made, this is just a guide for me. I'm going to start adding in the colors, like I'm going to start off with the whites of the eye with a solid brush, with an opaque or solid brush, not a transparent brush, because this is going to help us with what we're going to do later. So we need to use an opaque brush. And on top of that, I'm going to add a layer, and I'm going to flip the layer, and I'm going to go for a blue. Like this eye, I'm going to try and go for that. And I'm just going to draw that in there. Now that I have drawn that iris in, I'm going to add another layer and clip it, and I'm going to add the pupil. And what I want you to see here is that if you take a close look at this pupil, it's not fully black. It actually has a bit of color in there. So for now, I'm going to add the pupil, but later on I'm going to add a bit of color to that pupil as well. I'm not going to leave it black. Alright, so now we've got our eye, and what I want to focus on next is the eyelashes. So I'm gonna start a new layer, and I'm going to get my brush that I've created. What's great is that in Clip Studio Paint you can make your own brushes and you can make all kinds of things, and it's very easy. Once you learn how to do it, it's very easy to do. Now, as you take a close look at what I'm doing, I'm drawing the eyelashes, the eyelash line. This is how I'm going to start off, but I'm also leaving a bit of space here for the skin to show through. And I'm doing that on purpose because if you take a close look here, you can see some of that skin color showing through. So that is what I'm trying to do at the moment. I'm trying to leave some of that skin color to show through the eyelash line. So I'm just drawing this to kind of guide me where the lashes are going to be. And this is basically the motion that I'm doing at the moment. If you're wanting to see what sort of movement I'm doing with my hand, that's what I'm going for. You could also use the G pen for this step. And then I'm also going to add the bottom lashes. Now, if you take a close look here, I'm not going to be adding the bottom lashes right where this line is. I'm going to leave a space, just a small space there from where that's gray, from where that white is. Because as you can see as well here, there is a eyelid. Alright, so far so good. We've got our eye, and now what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start adding some depth to our eye. So I'm going to go over here to our gray that we've created. I'm going to lock this layer, lock the transparent pixels. I have a soft brush that I have duplicated here, and I've just changed it to multiply, and that's just going to easily help me. But now if you see what I'm doing here, our blue iris is not getting any depth. So what I'm going to do is rather I'm going to go to a layer up here, and I'm going to turn that layer into a multiply layer, and rather choose a soft brush instead of a soft multiply brush. And now when I I'm gently touching my tablet, I'm going to go over and it's going to create depth throughout the whole way there. I'm also wanting to create a little bit of depth here at the bottom, but not too much. Even if right now this eye looks a little bit misshapen, it doesn't matter because we can fix that later on. Alright, so far we have created our eye right here. And now I'm going to start shaping this eye with my eraser. I'm using my soft eraser right now, and I'm just using that to erase those strange curves that I can see the eye has. And now I think that looks a lot better. Alright, so now I'm going to work on my iris. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lock this iris for now. I'm locking it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the special ruler. But when I go to the special ruler, I need to go here and I must click on the radial line. So now I've got this ruler, but I've got it on the wrong layer, so I need to take this ruler and put it over here with where my iris is. I have to make sure my iris is locked in transparency. Now we're going to start adding some color. Oops. So I've just started to add these dark hues and different colors that I'm seeing. Now, one thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go and open up a new layer and put the ruler in there, and I'm going to take this hairbrush that I've created, and I want to try something and see how it turns out. So I've taken this hairbrush, and now what I'm doing is I'm using the oops, wrong layer. So I'm taking this hairbrush that I've created, and I'm going to use the radial layer to my advantage. You see, now I've created this line, these sort of texture to the eye and variation with using this radial ruler, which is pretty awesome. Now, for now, I'm not gonna need this radial. I'm gonna shape this eye a bit better because you can see it's out of shape. So I'm gonna take my erase, and I'm not worried about the outline of the eye being sharp, because if you take a look at this eye, it's got a very gentle outline versus this one. Even this one right here has a very blurred outline there. So I like that sort of blurred look. So that's what I'm going to go for now, and I'm going to just start erasing the outlines with my brush. Alright, so now I want to create a bit of depth in some of these areas. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to merge this layer with the layer below, and I'm just going to put that ruler somewhere else for now in case I want to use it later. And I am just going to start using this multiply tool to create some variation in the colors here and there. Now that I've got our basis here with my eye, I'm going to start adding some detail to the skin below. But I want to mimic that same things that I'm going to be doing on this side on the other side. So what I'm going to use is symmetrical ruler, and I'm going to try and put it as center as I can right here. That way when I start drawing with my brush, it's going to reflect on the other side. So I'm going between two different brushes. I'm going between the brush that I have downloaded from online, and I'm using also the soft brush from Clip Studio Paint. There's lots of places you can get awesome brushes from, like DeviantArt. There's also other websites you can get it, but the one that I like to use the most is DeviantArt. Alrighty, so now we're starting to see that depth that the eyelid has. You can even go in with your lasso tool and create a selection. And now what we're going to do is we're going to invert selection and use a soft multiply. And already we're seeing we're creating depth there. Now there is also a bit of shadow over here. This because we've added shadow here at the top, but not on the eyelid itself, and we need to. So we're gonna go back and invert that as well, and add a bit of shade there to the eyelid. Alright, so now we have an eyelid that we have created with our lasso tool, and we can just go over that to smooth it out a little bit. So now we have created a shadow from our eye right there. And what I want to do now is continue creating the contours of the face. I also want to add some pinks to give the flesh a bit of variation. Maybe some yellow as well. And maybe even a bit of green there. And now we're going to go back to adding more color to the eye. Now that we've gotten an idea of the face, we can add. So I'm going to use a color that matches this color right here. I'm going to use a color that matches the skin color here, but just adding slightly bit more pink to it. That's what I'm going for. And now I'm going to use my erase brush where I have the multiply up here and start to just give a bit of highlight to the areas that I've made dark. And go in and add some too. Alright, so now we've got these things. I want to center that pupil a bit more. And I want to use a sort of a blur effect on it. So I want to go to Gaussian blur. And I'm just going to blur it a little bit. There we go. Now I'm going to remove this ruler because I'm not going to be using it anymore. So I'm going to delete the ruler. And I want to add a bit of blue into the pupil itself with a soft brush. And that's it. I don't want to add too much. Alright, so I'm going to start removing some of this guidelines that I used earlier, because we seem to have a good enough shape at the moment. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try and shape this iris even. So now that I've got this inside of the eye more or less done properly, I'm going to actually merge them because I like to work with the eye like this, and I'm going to lock that layer. And I'm going to start adding some bit of pinks here and there in the eye, because the eye itself is not just gray, it's also got some color to it. And I also want to start highlighting, adding some more whites in it, because the eye at the moment is looking quite gray. So I'm going to use my soft glow dodge brush on the eye there to add a bit of highlight to the areas that look a bit too dark for the eye right now. Alright, so also I'm going to add a bit of the glow dodge tool over here in the area where I'm going to have light coming from the top right here. So I'm going to add this glow over here at the bottom left. And I'm also going to do a little bit of a line here. Okay, so now that we've got that, I'm going to add a bit of a shadow over here to this inner side of this eye, because that is casting a shadow there. So we'll still be able to see that skin, but it won't be as bright as the bottom here. And now I would like to get some of this pink and create up and show up a little bit of that bottom lid. As it folds up here, it's going to disappear. Alright, so now we've got that. And if you take a look at what happens a lot of the time is here on this side of the eye is a highlight, and over here on the lid. So we're going to take pick this color of the skin and choose a lighter color. Or you can even go with a low dodge brush. And add some highlights there. The eyebrow area right here usually sticks out, and that catches the light, and light touches there. So that's why I'm adding a bit of highlight there to the eyebrow area. And I'm just gonna define this eyelid a bit more. So if you take a close look here, I've ended up putting skin tones on this top eye right here. So what I can do is I can use my lasso tool to quickly go over that and cut it, and then merge it down to the layer below, in case you do make that mistake in the future. Alright, so I'm just going to work with that a little bit more. And there we've got some bottom lid and top lid. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to work a little bit more in the eye. And I'm going to start off by taking this pupil, which I think looks a bit to the side. And I'm just going to use the lasso tool like this. I'm going to duplicate it and take my move layer tool, and I'm going to center that pupil where I think it goes, and then take my eraser brush and erase those lines that are sticking out, and then I'm going to merge that back down with the layer that I was working with. Now we're going to do something which is going to change the look of this completely by just adding, first I'm going to start off by adding a little bit of shadow here to this side, and then I'm going to add some highlights. And on a separate layer, I'm going to create a separate layer. And with a sharp brush, I am going to create a highlight. You can use the lasso tool. I've created a highlight there, and that's changed the game completely, right? That's really changed this up. Now I want to change the eyelashes a bit more because so far I'm not liking what the eyelashes are looking like. So I'm going to redo the eyelashes. I'm going to take my brush and I'm just going to turn that there so I can take a good look and see in what direction these lashes are going in. This is another reason why you want to use reference pictures. It's going to help you to be able to improve your art as you're observing and learning the anatomy and the structure of things. Now that's looking more like it. Alright, so now that we've done that, I also want to show you a little trick that I like to do. Over here is our highlight. And sometimes what happens is you also get this sort of highlight that has hair shadow, eyelash shadows on it. And I'm going to show you how you can do that as well. So I'm just going to hide my very bright highlight right now. And I'm going to take my lasso tool and go around like this and create ridges going up and down with my lasso tool. Alright, and I'm just gonna fill that in. Let's fill it in with blue, with the blue highlight. Alright, I'm gonna just lift that up a little bit. Alright, so there we've got a highlight. And I'm actually just, with my eraser tool, I'm going to just soften up the bottom. And I'm going to also take this here and turn down the opacity. Now we've got this highlight. I'm going to add a little bit of white in there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my erase. I'm going to erase in the eyelashes. So the eyelashes are going that way. So I'm going to try and mimic what I think would be the mirror version of the eyelashes. So now we've created some interesting lights and shadows there. I'm just going to add a little bit more wet effect to the eyes. And now I'm going to do the eyebrow. So what I'm going to do for the eyebrow is I'm going to go over here right on top, and in this scenario I'm going to use this ruler brush, and I'm going to take my brush that I created, and I'm going to use a brown eyebrow. I'm going to make a brown eyebrow. So I'm going to start over here. I'm working in the shape of the eyebrow. We can even take this and we're going to change the shape of it. Alright, now this eyebrow is looking quite flat because it only has one color in at the moment. So I'm going to add some darker strands in it as well. And I'm going to take my erase brush that I created of the same brush, and I'm going to go over there to just show through some of that skin underneath the eyebrow. There we go. I've created an eyebrow, and now what I want to do is I want to actually, if you take a look at this, sometimes the skin reflects onto the upper eyebrow right here. Like there's darkness here, but then there's this light shade right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and mimic that as well. I'm going to take some of the skin tone and add a very, I use my perpendicular, my symmetrical ruler, and just add a bit of that gentle tone in there. Alright. Maybe more of a pink hue. Alrighty, so now we've got this eye shape. And what we're going to do right now is we're going to flip it and see what happens when we flip it. Alright, so all I'm going to flip right now is this eye. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate it. There we go. Now I'm going to Control Alt, and I'm going to hold over here, and I'm going to turn it. Now I'm going to leave this eye here, and I want to see if they're about the same size. That looks to me like that's right. That's about the same size. And I'm going to add it onto, just going to put it in where it slots in this area. There we go. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the eyelash. I'm going to duplicate this eyelash, and I'm going to flip it around. And then I am also going to merge these, and I'm going to duplicate it, but instead of turning it, I like how bright that has turned out to be. So I'm just going to merge that down, and I'm going to duplicate it. And instead of turning it, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move it over to the side. But the problem here is okay, so I've duplicated those ones, the one with the light. I'm going to take it to the side. I'm sorry, I'm going to merge that, duplicate it, and then I'm going to turn it over. Yeah. Because now the eyelashes are going that way, so they're going to, the shadow's going to reflect differently onto the eye. Alright, and now I'm going to add this highlight on this side. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to shorten this side a little bit. And I'm going to do the same thing with the eyebrow. With eyelashes, I mean. If I wanted to add, let's say, some makeup, all I would do is I would go here to the skin and make a layer above it and bring that ruler up there so that it reflects on the other side as well. And I'm going to take, I want to create a sort of glitter effect, the glitter makeup. So I'm going to choose, let's see what would be nice with blue. I think like a dark blue. Even purple. Purple would look really nice. Purple glitter. I'm going to use the droplets. Let's start adding some makeup. It's different. Oops, wrong layer. Okay, so we gotta go here where we have our ruler. We're gonna start adding our glitter. Let's try and make the particle size a little bit bigger. Let's see what's happening here. Alright, so we're adding this. I want to make the particle size slightly larger so we can start to see that more clearly. Alright, I like that. Strength. I'm going to start lightening it up too. So right now we're going for a glitter look to this. This is some eye makeup we're doing right now. So we just going back and forth with the different purple shades there. We've created some glitter. Let's create some more highlights glitter down here. Maybe a little bit on the cheek. Add a bit of blush. Oops. Let's add that there. Alright, now that's a little bit too much blush. Okay, so now we've got that. We can also add in a some eyeliner if we want to. I'll just do that on a separate layer. I'll add the ruler to that, and I'll take black, and I'll use my hairbrush for the eyeliner, and I'm going to start going over that. Ah, always remember to put your ruler in the right place, folks. Okay, so add that there. Put the ruler on there. Make sure you're clicking on the layer, and let's add the eyeliner. You can also add a bit of a brown shadow over here. Let's actually make it a bit purple to match the colors. Alright, so now you see we've made eyes, we've done the eyebrows, we've done makeup. Now let's say you wanted to add some more eyelashes. Let's take this ruler and bring it all the way to the top. Okay, I'm going to add some more eyelashes. I'm going to take my hairbrush tool, and I'm just going to go in there and add some more crazier eyelashes. Oops, doing it in the wrong layer again. Alright, so I gotta make sure I'm pressing there. There we go. So now she's put on some fake eyelashes, so her lashes are looking a bit more pronounced, more crazy. Alright, now as I'm working on these eyes, I can merge this one now with the one at the bottom, and I can also merge these highlights as well. And I can see that this iris just has a strange shape to it, so I'm just going to give it fix that shape of the iris right now, because it's looking a little bit wonky. And on a layer over the whites, I'm also just adding a bit of that bottom lid just to close up the eyes a little bit more, and so that it's more pronounced. So what I'm going to do now that you see I've got the eyes done, I have fixed this strange iris look the shape of the irises. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this eye just tends to look a little bit bigger than the one on the other side. So I'm going to take that eye, merge these. This is what I love about Clip Studio Paint. I'm going to choose that layer. I'm going to choose that layer. And then I'm going to just change the size of those two layers. Go. Now it looks like it fits. It looks more or less the same size as the other one. Alright, that looks better now. And I'm going to show you something that I like to do as well with clips that I like to do when it comes to and I'm going to show you how I also can change the colors of the eyes and do some special things. So first of all, I'm going to duplicate that layer. I'm going to bring it down. Alright, so cool thing you can do is you can go over here to the eyes and just randomly choose, with a lasso tool, randomly choose a section of the eye and copy and paste over that layer. Now I'm going to take this tone, the hue, saturation, and luminosity, and start changing the colors here until I get something that's a bit cool that I like. Okay, so I really like that purple. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Gaussian blur, and now I'm going to blur that. And I'm also going to take the glow dodge tool. I'm going to pick that color and use the soft brush to create a highlight. See what I'm doing? I'm just using the color dodge layer to create some interesting look to this inside of this eye. And I also want to add a little bit more of a blue tint to the iris as well to make it look a little bit more interesting. Give it a bit of shape. There we go. That's nice. I like that. Alright, so there we go. We've got this blue eyes that I've done, and now I've got this eye that I've changed up. And what I'm also gonna take this layer, put it down here, and we're going to do cat iris. And I'm going to start off by picking this color of the iris, and I'm going to start coloring in the shape of the cat iris. So I've changed the pupil, but I also want to change the color of the iris, because cats tend to have I like that yellow look that cats have with their eyes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this whole iris right here, and this one too, and I'm going to copy and paste. Alright, so now I've got a second layer of that, and I'm going to change the color. I'm going to try and go for a yellow. I mean, I can make it green if I want to. Green is pretty cool too, but I think I'm going to try and go for a yellow. Change the luminosity up a little bit more. See how yellow can we go? Okay, not too yellow. So it looks fake. Alright, so I'm going to stick to that. And what I'm going to do now is just erase these blue, the outer sides of the copy and paste that I did, which I didn't change the color, which I just erase those outer edges. And I'm going to lock this copy that I made, lock it, and I'm going to start adding some different depths to it by using the multiply tool and getting a bit of a dark brown color to it. Alright. I also want to use a bit of this orange in there, because this yellow is too much. It's too lime. So I'm going to add a bit of that orange in there as well. And then I'm going to go in with a glow dodge tool and just make some interesting lines in there with a hairbrush that I made. Okay, I gotta go over here and I'm gonna make a glow dodge so that it just highlights. If I wanted to go the extra mile, for this cat look here, if I wanted to go the extra mile, what I could do is I could merge all of these. First of all, so that I could go back and edit, I would duplicate it. And then I would merge all of these, just in case I wanted to back up. Just merge those. And then what I would before I merge those, I would actually like to change the eyebrows. And I'm going to start off with this left eyebrow. And I want to give her a bit of a mean eyebrow look. Change the shape of her eyebrow. There we go. You can just delete that one, duplicate that, and turn it around. I also, let's see, change that eyebrow for a little bit. I also want to give her some different makeup and give her an outline over here, a dark outline underneath the eye. And I want to change something with the shape of the eye as well. Let me just thicken this up a little bit over here. Make her a little bit more upset. Also going to add a bit of shadow here. Since the eyebrows are coming down, it's actually going to cast more of a shadow over here. So I'm going to use my multiply soft brush, and I'm just going to add a bit of a shadow there. And what I'm also going to do is, now that I've changed her expression, is I am going to merge this layer here. Right? I'm going to merge that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this shape of the eye and I'm going to make a copy of it. And I'm going to mesh. I'm going to take this side and I'm going to change the shape of it. I'm going to go down because cats, the eye shape of cats, usually this side here points down. So that's why I'm wanting to, and this side points up. So now what I can do is I can actually duplicate that side and put it on this side. Just to make it a lot faster, instead of shaping the other eye as well, we can do it this way. Now we have changed the expression completely, and we have changed the... Now all I gotta do to make this blend in is just erase the edge, the edges that stand out from after we shaped it. And now we've got completely set different eyes, different expression. What if I wanted to make a happy cat instead of an angry cat? I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So a happy cat versus an angry cat. So we've got these beautiful eyes, and now what I want to do is I want to make her happy. I want to make her expression happy. So I'm going to show you how I go about changing her expression very quickly so you can see how you can make your characters change. By a slight change of the eyes, you can make your characters look like they have a different expression. Oops, wrong. Alright, so here we have our cat girl. What I'm going to do to make her expression happy is I'm going to lift up her eyebrows a little bit. Actually change the shape of her eyebrows just a little bit too. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna merge. Usually I would just merge I'm gonna merge the eyes down with the skin. And I'm gonna take this over here. And I'm gonna do that. Now I'm going to mesh. I'm gonna mesh transform it. And I'm gonna do this. Right, now I've done that, and I'm gonna erase the skin over here, and I'm gonna erase just gonna merge that back down and take that out and cut it out. Thank you so much for watching this video. Click on the link below and give me a thumbs up if you want me to win the tips of the month for Clip Studio Paint. If you want to watch more videos like this, you can join me at patreon.com/Garnetflame. And again, thanks for watching.